हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
माता जी दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्णा।
हरे कृष्णा प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम।
दंडवत प्रणाम माता। हरे कृष्ण। Start now. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamanyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगतपते गोपेशा गोपिका कांता राधा कांता नमस्ते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंशाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मुखं करोति वाचालं पङ्गुं लङ्घयतेदिनं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानन्दमाधवं श्रीचैतन्येश्वरं। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्ता स्वामिनिति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। So today we will be discussing the first chapter of second canto. Last week we didn't had a discussion. Last week we discussed about the 19th chapter of the first canto. It was appearance of Sukadeva Goswami. Um, Maharaj Parikshit, after being cursed, he left home, came to the bank of the Ganges. That place today is near Delhi, around I think 3 hours, 2 to 4 hours away. It's called Shukrutal. There he sat down on the bank of Ganges. Then all the sages, they heard about this news, so they came and they wanted to be with Maharaj Parikshit. But at the same time, because they are very advanced souls, they knew what is going to happen. The history is going to be made, and Shrimad Bhagavatam will descend. So, in order to participate, they came. Um, Sukadev Goswami expressed, Maharaj Parikshit expressed his gratitude. He told them about his vow to not to fast until death. He has 7 more days. He expresses gratitude that um, um, now you all have come. If I have to take birth again, my only desire is to take birth among the association. Among the association of all of your saints. He also took the curse as the mercy of the Lord, because he felt that because I was too attached um, to the kingdom um, and the family, because I was too attached, the Lord made this arrangement so I can remove myself from that and be around sages and spend this time remembering him. Then he asked questions to the sages as they were all discussing. Same, the question is, what is good for all living entities? What is the perfect subject matter to hear, to remember? Mm, As he asked this question to the sages were discussing among themselves, but nobody came forward. And then we saw that Sukadev Goswami entered. He was being followed. He was very beautiful. He bluish, blackish complexion, like Krishna, Shama complexion, large eyes, very long hands, having the all the sages by seeing the external features could understand that he is a great soul. The assembly includes Bharadwaj Rishi, Vishwamitra Muni, Vashishta Muni, um, Parasuram, Vyasadev, Narad Muni, Parvat Muni, and all the great rishis and sages were there. By saying Sukadev Goswami, they stood in respect, bowed down to him. Sukadev Goswami took a high seat. He was being followed by children and women. Um, who were ignorant, were described as ignorant, but when they saw that he is being received and respected by 60,000 sages, they became scared and they all went away. Then Maharaj Parikshit offered various beautiful prayers to Sukadev Goswami. He says, um, we have been blessed today by having your divine association. Wherever you go, just by your mere presence, this place has become a place, a holy place, and a place of pilgrimage. Just by remembering you, um, the sins, just by seeing you, thus all the sins are vanquished. Um, and just by remembering you, the houses become purified. Just by remembering you, but to speak about seeing you, touching you, um, washing your lotus feet, giving you a seat, um, welcoming you. Just by seeing you, the houses becomes our household becomes purified. So in this way, he glorified Sukadev Goswami, and then he asked 2 questions to Sukadev Goswami. Same question that he asked from the sages before. The first question he asked from Sukadev Goswami is, what is the ultimate welfare activity for all living entities? What should they do? What is the way to perfection? How can they attain? And especially the duty of a man who is about to die. And then the second question Maharaj Parikshit asked Sukadev Goswami is, what is during this time, what should they hear? What should they remember? What should they chant? Whom should they worship? And what they shouldn't do? Please tell us, oh great saint. So that's where comes the end of the first canto. The second canto is where Sukadev Goswami starts speaking. And the beginning of second canto is again same as beginning of first canto, which is invocation prayer for the second canto, which is Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. After the invocation, then Sukadev Goswami starts speaking. First, Sukadev Goswami becomes very pleased. One of the things we see here is before we question great personalities like our spiritual masters, first we should glorify them, just the way Maharaj Parikshit was glorified Sukadev Goswami from his heart. And then when the question is asked, and then when the answer is received, in that mood, if the question is asked in that mood of full faith, and then when the answer is received from those who are self-realized soul, the answer goes right into the region of the heart. So Sukadev Goswami starts speaking. First, Sukadev Goswami becomes this is the very first thing in Bhagavatam where Sukadev Goswami starts speaking. Just like we see in Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna doesn't speak anything till second chapter. Likewise, we see in Shrimad Bhagavatam, Sukadev Goswami doesn't speak anything till the beginning of second canto. And the first thing he says is wonderful questions. He says, excellent. Um, these the questions that you have asked, they are beneficial for all living entities, and the answer to these questions that you have asked is the perfect subject matter for everyone to hear. Um, and then Sukadev Goswami, first he speaks about what one should not hear, what one should not speak about, what one should not remember. Um, and then he speaks about Griha Medhis. Prabhupada says in the first, but this is about Griha Medhis. Sukadeva Goswami says those who are blind to absolute truth. Apashyatam Atma Tattvam. Atma Tattvam means realization of the self and realization of the super self. Pashyati is to see. Apashyatam means those who don't see, those who are blind to absolute truth. They have so many subject matter to speak, to hear, to remember. They have so many things. Like there is one person came and I asked him, so do you have any question? So he asked, what do you think about the political stunt of the opening of Ayodhya temple? Then I said, bro, I don't know all this politics side. I just see whatever happened as with the permission of Lord Ram, and that's all I know about the temple. So people have so many things to talk about, so many things to remember in this material world, so many things that they hear, like this newspaper, that they speak, that they remember. Um, and then so the Goswami says, these people who are blind to self-realization, they waste their time. They, in a daytime, they think about making how to make money, um, and how to maintain one's family. And in the night time, they spend their time in either like sex life or in sleeping. So in this way, the day and night are gone in making money, maintaining the family, sex and sleep. And then they have so many subject matters to speak about, that are connected to this material world. And they have great faith in their wife, in their children, in their bodies, in their relatives. Although they see, it says Pashyati Apashyati, although they see that um, all these, like they take shelter of fallible soldiers. When one good example that we remember is when Ajamil was dying, he took shelter of a fallible soldier, his son. He was saved because somehow the name of the son was Narayan. But then when he was in difficult time, he was taking shelter of his son. He's taking shelter of somebody who himself is fallible. So these people, he says, those who are blind to absolute truth, and those who are blind to self-realization, they have so many subject matters to speak, to glorify, to remember. They simply waste their time day and night, and they take shelter of fallible soldiers, um, who whose destruction is inevitable. They're taking shelter of those whose destruction is inevitable, and they are taking shelter of their own body. They have faith on themselves and on others, and all of them are fallible soldiers. Um, and they have seen it, Pashyati Apashyati. They see how everybody is fallible. Still, they take shelter of those who are fallible. And then he actually. So first, Sukadev Goswami answers what one should not hear, what one should not remember, what one should not glorify, should not speak about others, should not like when Raghunath Das Goswami asked through Sarup Damodar Goswami to Lord Chaitanya, what is the duty um, of a man in renounced order? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Gram mein katha na kahibe, gram mein katha na sunibe. These are first two things he says. Don't hear mundane things. Don't speak mundane things. And then Sukadev Goswami says, therefore, with single pointed attention, one should only hear, remember, and glorify and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Hari. Hear about Hari, glorify Hari, remember Hari, and do it with single pointed attention. In other words, those what is like the first question is getting answered here, and this answer will continue for five more verses. The first question was, I mean, um, both questions are simultaneously getting answered actually. One of the question, the second question was what one should hear, remember, and glorify, and what one should not. So one should hear, remember, and glorify Hari, but those who are blind to that, they have so many subject matters to hear, glorify, remember. And this is what Lord Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita. He says, um, 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 what is that verse? Bahushaka anantasya buddhaya vyavasayinam. Vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kuru nandana. Bahusha, those who are resolute in purpose, their goal is one. But those who are not, their intelligence is many branched. So they have so many things to do. But those who are serious about self-realization, with single pointed attention, they do this. So first, one should hear what one should hear, glorify, remember. This is answered. And then Sukadev Goswami also says that those who want to become free from misery and fear, who want to become free from misery and fear, should, with single pointed attention, glorify, remember, and hear about Hari. And then there's a very beautiful verse. I would like to um, uh, read the Sanskrit also. First, this one. Once again, I will share the screen also. These few verses are very nice. Okay, can you see the screen?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay, thank you. तस्माद् भारत सर्वात्मा भगवान् ईश्वरो हरि श्रोतव्य कीर्तितव्यश्च स्मर्तव्यश्चेतता भयम्. So, O descendant of King Bharata, one who desires to be free from all miseries, must hear about, glorify, and also remember the personality of Godhead, who is the super soul, the controller, and the savior from all miseries. So this is what it says here. Bhagavan Ishvara Hari Shrotavya, here Kititavya chant, Smartavya, which is Smarana. What to do with all these things about Hari. And then the next verse, which is very nice, Sukadev Goswami says, "Oh Parikshit, understand what is the goal first. What is the goal? Etavan Sankhyayogyabhyam Swadharma Parinishthaya Janma Labha Para Pumsam Ante Narayana Smriti." The goal of Sankhya, which is um, um, the Jnana Yoga, Yoga, which is mystic yoga, Swadharma, one's duty, or let's see, the highest perfection of human life, achieved either by complete knowledge of matter and spirit, which is Sankhya Yoga, by practice of mystic yoga, which is the path of yoga, by perfect discharge of occupational duty, which is Swadharma, is to remember the personality of Godhead at the end of life. Ante Narayana Smriti. So, um, what is the duty of a man who is about to die? O Parikshit, whether by Sankhya or by Yoga or by Swadharma, whatever you do, always remember where you want to get to is Ante Narayana Smriti. You should be able to remember Narayan at the end of your life. And of course, we cannot get there so easily. And that's why in your life, you hear, remember, and glorify Hari. And if you do that, then at the end of the life, you will remember Narayan, Ante Narayana Smriti. And then Sukadev Goswami says, those who are topmost transcendentalist, those who are perfected souls, what is the proof that somebody is advanced? They take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord. The word used in the Sanskrit is nirgunya. O King Parishit, mainly the topmost transcendentalist, uh, who are above, basically, transcendentalist, the word is nirguna. Nirguna means those who are free from three moods. They, at the end, he said, they take pleasure in describing the glories of the Lord. And if we see ourselves, when we meet, how many times we meet and we discuss the glories of the Lord? How many times we speak about Krishna? And instead, we like to speak about seva. We like to speak about many things. But if somebody asks us this question, can you tell me something about Krishna? Well, I don't know anything about Krishna. What about this? What about this? What about that? And we speak about many things, but we don't take much pleasure on a casual basis. I mean, when we are hearing Hari Katha, it's nice. But when we are associating one on one with some devotees, then do we try to glorify Krishna or keep Krishna in the center? Or do we speak about everything other than Krishna? So it is said that one who are uh, free from, because we want to talk about the things that is based on the modes that is acting on us. But those who are free from three modes, they take pleasure um, in describing the glories of Hari. And then um, Sukadev Goswami glorifies Shrimad Bhagavatam. Sukadev Goswami says first he glorifies Bhagavatam and he says and he describes Bhagavatam as Brahma Samitam. If you see the Sanskrit here, um, it says Puranam Brahma Samitam. Idam Bhagavatam Nama. This Bhagavat, that what I'm going to speak, Puranam Brahma Samitam. Prabhupada describes Brahma Samitam as um, mm, the essence of Brahma Samhitam in the essence of the Vedas. If you see word by word meaning, Brahma Samhitam approved as the essence of the Vedas. So this Purana, and this Puran, which is Idam Bhagavatam, this Bhagavat Puran, is the essence of the Vedas. And Adhitavan Dwapar Daw, and it has come in Dwapar Yuga, at the end of Dwapar Yuga. Pitur, spoken by my Pita Vyasadev, Dwaipayanath, whose name is Dwaipaya Vyasa, and I heard it. Mhm. Mhm. And then further glorifies Bhagavatam, and he says, "Oh, King Parikshit, I was a liberated soul." Like here, he says, "I was certainly situated perfectly in transcendence. I was a liberated soul." Basically, we hear Sukadeva Goswami when he came out from the womb of his mother. He had no attachment. So he says, "I was situated in transcendence already, but still I was attracted to the pastimes of the Lord. Yet I was still attracted by the delineation of the pastimes of the Lord, who is described by enlightened verses. So although I was liberated, I was still attracted to the pastime of the Lord." So Sukadeva Goswami is telling, see, I am the proof that Bhagwan realization is higher than Brahman realization. First he says one must. First he says what one must not. What one must not do, and one must not. Those who are blind to self-realization, they have so many things to hear, speak, remember, all nonsense. And what they do is they waste their time in money, maintaining the family, sex, and sleep. And they have nothing else to do. That's all they do in their life. Day and night, their life is uselessly wasted. But you, those who are serious about self-realization, you should hear, remember, glorify the Supreme Lord Hari. And then after describing, he says, Hari is not Hari. The best realization of Hari is Bhagwan realization. Or here the glories of Hari. Here, like if you see here, it says Gunanuvarnanam. Oh, yeah, somewhere else it says, but um, the pastimes, the glories, the qualities of Hari. In other words, um, he gives by his own example. I was also transcendental, Brahman realized, but I was attracted also. So this subject matter is beyond the three modes. The subject matter is completely transcendental. Then he says, one who gives full attention to the Shrimad Bhagavatam. First, he says, I shall recite this Bhagavatam because you are most sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. This also means that even if somebody is very sincere, and if you know anything about Bhagavatam, if somebody is very sincere, and if you know anything about Bhagavatam, you must speak Bhagavatam to those who are sincere. Even if there is one person, and if they are sincere, we must spend our time to glorify Bhagavatam. And here Sukadeva Goswami says, I shall recite. Although this is Brahma Samhitam, glorify Bhagavatam, I shall recite because you are a sincere devotee of Lord Krishna. And then he says, what is the benefit of hearing Bhagavatam? One who gives full attention and respect to Bhagavatam, hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, achieves unflinching faith in the Supreme Lord. Anybody who sincerely, attentively listens this Bhagavatam, he will have unflinching faith. Um, unflinching faith in in the Supreme Lord. This also reminds me, recently we celebrated Nityananda Dashi. And Lord Nityananda Prabhu has opened a marketplace where he is selling the holy name. Um, and the price that he asks to sell the holy name, if he gives you the holy name, you can chant the holy name with ecstasy. But holy name, we have not fully received the holy name. So Nityananda Prabhu says, I will give you, it's a marketplace of the holy name. Nam Hat Kuleche. I will give you the holy name, but for the price, I ask for faith. The amount of faith we have, that much we can be absorbed in the holy name. And how can we gain faith? Here, Sukadeva Goswami says, if you give full attention and respect to Bhagavatam, then you will achieve unflinching faith. And with unflinching faith, then you can chant the holy name also in ecstasy. And this is one of then um, the best process. Sukadeva Goswami says, he says, okay, constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord, um, following the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way of success for all. Um, um, and if you see the Sanskrit, it says Namanu Kirtanam. Eta nirvidyamananam ichhatam akuto bhayam yoginam nipannimitam hare namanu kirtanam. Not our name or somebody else's name or some other devata name. Hare namanu kirtanam. And it says which kirtan. There are many form of kirtan. There is lila kirtan, there is guna kirtan. We can do kirtan means glorification. We can glorify the pastime, we can glorify the qualities, we can glorify the form. But the best form of kirtanam is nam kirtanam, nam anukirtanam. And whose nam kirtan? Hare nam kirtan. So Sukadeva Goswami is like giving the essence right in the beginning. This is the first thing that he's speaking, and the first instruction Sukadeva Goswami gives to Maharaj Parikshit, who is about to die. Hear about Krishna, chant about Krishna, remember Krishna, and hear this Bhagavatam, because this is Brahma Samhitam. This is the essence of all the Vedas. Hear this Bhagavatam, um, and um, um, chant the name of Hari. These are these are the instructions, and then the topic changes from there. But this is the essence. So constant chanting, Anu means again and again. Constant chanting of the holy name of the Lord after the ways of great authorities. Anu means also following the great authorities is the doubtless and fearless way. So any doubt, so Parishit Maharaj may think, is there? Do you have any doubt? You will attain perfection. It's doubtless. And any fear, maybe, maybe not, it's fearless. One example, Rupa Goswami says, if you're chanting name of Krishna, you can close your eyes and run, and there will be no obstacles, and you will attain perfection. And when we close our eyes and we are walking, there is a lot of fear, right? What if we get obstructed by some means or other? It's a doubtless and fearless ways. This is established not just by me, this is established by all the great authorities. This is whatever I'm speaking is after what all the great authorities have spoken, that constant chanting of the Naam, the highest kind of Kirtan, Naam Kirtan, is the doubtless and fearless for success for all. Whoever you are, he says, what about what is tell us the um, path to perfection for all living entity and for one who is about to die. Doesn't matter who you are, including those who are free from material desire. You are free from material desire, you chant, you attain perfection. Who are desirous of all material enjoyment, you are full of material desires. Hare Krishna. प्रभु बैकड्रॉप ना पुजारी रूम में है. अच्छा एक सेकेंड. Sorry. So those who are free from all material desire, those who are desirous. If you are full of material desires, and those who are self-satisfied by the dint of transcendental knowledge, and even if you are jnanis, and if you see in front of Maharaj Sukadeva Goswami, there are 60,000 sages, and they are all self-satisfied, and they all have transcendental knowledge. So Sukadeva Goswami is telling whether you are self-satisfied because of transcendental knowledge, whether you are free from all material desire, whether you are full of material desire, this chanting of the holy name, as established by the great authority, is the doubtless and fearless ways to attain success for all. And with this, then he changes the topic. So first, so somebody, and this whole Bhagavatam is expanding on this, but somebody asks you some question and you immediately answer, and then you elaborate on it. And that's how they said that this is the essence that Sukadeva Goswami has given right in the beginning. And then everything Sukadeva Goswami spoke is the purport to this verse. And that's why it is said that Shrimad Bhagavatam is the purport to the glories of the Holy Name. And if you see the end of the Bhagavatam is also about glorifying the Holy Name. And when just the last verse of the 12th canto, it says, therefore, um, constantly chant the holy name of Hari. And of course, Shravanam Kirtanam most important. Among them, Kirtanam is most important. Among Kirtanam, Nam Kirtan is the most important. Everything is there. If you do Nam Kirtan, and if somebody is not doing Nam Kirtan, then start doing Nam Kirtan because there is nothing higher than that. Doubtless, fearless, no matter who you are, no matter how much you know, no matter how many material desires you are, just chant and Prabhupada says, just chant and be happy. Just chant and you will attain perfection. And then Sukadeva Goswami, he is um, he consoles Maharaj Parikshit because he knows Maharaj Parikshit has only 7 days. So Sukadeva Goswami says, what is the use of a long life? What is the value of prolonged life which is wasted? Prabhupada write in the purport that trees, they'll sometimes they live for thousands of years, simply a waste of life. Or so many people they live for 100 years also, simply a waste of life. So Sukadev Goswami says, better a moment of full consciousness because that gives one a start in searching after his supreme interest. Better one moment of Krishna consciousness than hundreds of thousands of years of waste life, a life of full of waste. And so he's consoling that don't worry, you have 7 days. It doesn't matter how long you live. What matters is can you live in full consciousness? Full consciousness means remembering, glorifying, hearing, chanting, reading Shrimad Bhagavatam, which is Puranam Brahma Samhitam. So that is living in full consciousness, living in absorption Krishna consciousness. What is the value of a prolonged life which is wasted? Better a moment of full consciousness. And then he gives an example of Maharaj Khatavanga. Sukadev Goswami says, you see the example Khatavanga Maharaj. Prabhupada writes in the purport, Khatavanga Maharaj was the king. He was very powerful king, and the demigods they called for Maharaj Khatavanga to help them to fight with the demons. And he was so powerful that he single-handedly he gave a good battle to the demons and defeated all the demons. And the demigods were very pleased with the king. He was a powerful Kshatriya. And then they asked Maharaj Khatavanga, the demigods asked the king, we are so pleased with your services to us. Ask for any benediction you want. I mean, people worship demigods, and people worship demigods for material desires. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, less intelligent people worship demigods because they have material desires. So the demigods himself are in person asking the king, who belongs to the earthly planet, of course. He went up to help the demigod. They are asking Khatvanga Maharaj, ask for any benediction. And Khatvanga Maharaj asked him one question to the demigods. He asked them, how much time do I have in my life remaining? And they looked at his chart and they told Maharaj Khatvanga, you have one muhurta. One muhurta means one moment. One muhurta is one moment of demigods, which is like 12 minutes of earthly planet. So he said, you have one muhurta. Then Khatvanga Maharaj, he says, okay, please give me the benediction that I can go to the earth planet immediately. So they sent him back to the earth planet. And in that 12 minutes, that one muhurta, Maharaj Khatvanga, he remembered Krishna. He closed eyes, remembered Krishna. And in 12th minute came and he died. And because he remembered Krishna at the time of death, he attained liberation. As per like Prabhupada mentions in the purport, he at once took shelter of Supreme Personality of Godhead. He became free from all material activities, attained liberation. And the goal of everything, the goal of so Sukadev Goswami says, see what is the goal? Oh Maharaj Parikshit, the goal is Whether by Sankhya, whether by Dharma, whether by Yoga, whether by Jnana, no matter what you do, you can understand if your path is correct. If you can attain this one thing, Ante Narayana Smriti. And Khatwanga Maharaj at the last moment could remember Hari. Because the Lord was very pleased, the demigods were very pleased, Lord was very pleased. So Lord gave him that remembrance. And Prabhupada says he could have asked so many things. Although he was doing his duty, he never forgot his goal. His goal was to remember Krishna at the time of death. His goal was to go back to Godhead. Everything else was he was trying to serve the demigods. And at the end also of the war, he was not bewildered by what he won. He was clear about what's the goal of his life. And first he wanted to make sure when he got relief from the fighting, he as soon as he was done, he immediately remembered, am I working towards my goal? So when they asked blessing, he only asked, first thing he asked is, how much time I have? Because he want to make sure that he is prepared for the actual goal. And the actual goal, here Sukadev Goswami says, Ante Narayana Smriti. You must remember Krishna at time of death. And that's what Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita. Hmm. So we see the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is always telling, remember me. Man mana bhad mad bhakto, mad yaji mam namaskuru. Same thing. Glorify me, remember me, worship me, offer obeisances to me. And here Sukadev Goswami is telling this is the with single pointed attention. Oh Maharaj Parikshit, you should do this. Don't be like Grihamedis who simply waste their life. One moment is better than their thousands of years of life. Just simply waste. And Maharaj and Khatwanga attain perfection in a moment. You have 7 days. Excellent. So this is very nice. And Maharaj Parikshit, now your duration of life is limited to 7 more days. So during this time, you can perform whatever is needed to prepare for your next life. Prepare for your next life. At the last stage, and then this is very nice. Then he says at the last stage, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death. So now your time has come. So imagine if we are supposed to die in 1 hour, if we are supposed to die in 5 minutes, then Sukadev Goswami is telling, be bold enough not to be afraid of death. You get a news, we get a news, last stage cancer. We have 1 month to live. Then again, remember this verse. At the last stage of one's life, means almost, one should be bold enough not to be afraid of death. Don't be afraid. One must cut off all attachment to the material body and everything pertaining to it and all desires thereof. So once you come to know the last time has come, be bold enough that don't be afraid of that. Yes. Why? Because yes, this body has become diseased. The body will die. I must prepare for the next life. And if possible, I must remember Narayan until Narayan Smriti. And I must give up the attachment to this body. I must not be attached. And I must not have any attachment at this point of time. Oh, I want this, I want that. No. I'm leaving this body. I don't want to live with unfulfilled desires. I don't want any desires. And I have no fear to leave at any point of time. I'm prepared. So this is what he is. So see, this is Guru. And Guru is preparing his disciple Maharaj Parikshit. Um, um, how to die. How to die. Okay. So I think that's the essence. And then um, I have some more. Now, quickly in 5-10 minutes, I will just summarize the rest of the chapter. Okay, so so Now Sukadev Goswami answers now here in the purport. Here Srila Prabhupada mentions many of the sages who were present. They were Ashtanga yogis, um, not bhakti yogis. Many of them, because they are coming from Janalok, Taplok, Mahalok. And those are the places where people perform austerity and do mystic yoga, and they all came and they are also listening. So first he already established that whether you are a yogi or this, the goal is Ante Narayan Smriti, and the doubtless and fearless ways to attain the goal to remember Krishna at the end is constant chanting. And this is not just me speaking, this is coming from these are the way of authorities. This is coming from the authorities. But since everyone is not convinced, everyone is not on that stage. So Sukadev Goswami first described the path of Ashtanga Yoga, which was the opinion held by many of the sages in the assembly. So first he speaks about Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga has this is the rest of the chapter. It has 8 limbs. There is Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayam, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. Um, so he told Sukadeva Goswami, he tells one path which the sages really like who are listening. And he is speaking their opinion, because when Sukadeva Goswami asked, when Parishit Maharaj asked, what is the duty of a man who is about to die? Or what is the way to perfection? So many were thinking, practice this Ashtanga Yoga, and that is the way to perfection. So Sukadeva Goswami gives many sages have this opinion, and he described this path. And the next chapter, the second chapter that we will see next week, he gives his own opinion about this path of Ashtanga Yoga. So he says Yama. Yama means the rules. He says leave home. Krishna also describes this in the sixth chapter. It's a bona fide path, but not for this age. For this age, Sukadeva Goswami has already established constant chanting of the holy name. But this path is leave your home. Krishna says that also. Practice self-control. Um, because if you're not practicing self-control, then in Hindi से इधर उधर मुंह मारना, then हम लोग इधर उधर मुंह मारेंगे, मतलब we will be attracted to here and there and here. Oh, this prasad is very nice, this, then one cannot focus. So he says leave the home, practice self-control, then bathe regularly at a sacred place. For him it's Mother Ganga. Then sit down in a secluded and sanctified place, and then chant Om and perform a regulated breathing, which is pranayama. This is the path of Ashtanga Yoga. And then withdraw the mind from the sense activities. So go to a secluded place, sit on a, same what Krishna says, sit on a seat not too high, not too low. Vibrate the syllable Om. Later on, Krishna says Om is me only, but it's another path. Vibrate the syllable Om and do breath work and pranayam. Pranayam is not needed for bhakti yogis. Bhakti yogi doesn't need anything. Bhakti yogi with single pointed attention, remember, glorify, chant name of the Lord, qualities of the Lord, pastimes of the Lord. This is fearless and doubtless way to attain perfection. Full stop. But for others, this path is called Yoga Mishra Bhakti, because this is also bhakti is there in this path. Bhakti is there. No path is perfect without bhakti, but it is mixed with yoga. Now, what is the purpose of pranayam, which is breath work, so that we can do pratyahara. Pratyahara is withdraw the mind from the sense activities. The mind is naturally very much um, entangled with the sense object. Krishna says to Uddhav, sense object lives in the mind and the mind lives in the sense object. And there is a very strong connection between the mind and the sense object. And in order to free the mind from the sense object, the recommendation is um, do regulated breathing. Then breath is considered as the king of the mind. Then mind will be a little bit peaceful. And then withdraw the mind from the sense object. And this is a practice. Keep on withdrawing, keep on withdrawing, keep on withdrawing. And then there is dharana. Dharana means hold, fix the mind on the Lord with intelligence on the Lord's form. This is this begins with an artificial, it's a artificial path which we must also try to practice this aspect of it, which is fix the mind with intelligence on the Lord's form. Means the mind naturally wants to attach to sense gratification. So what intelligence should do is bring the form of the Lord in the mind and fix it. This is a path, that's why there's a path of meditation. Um, this is called dharana. Fix the mind with intelligence on the Lord's form. Then meditate on each limb of the Lord. Meditate on the lotus feet of the Lord, hand, flute, smile, eyes. Meditate on each limb and then the whole body of the Lord. And then the samadhi is without any other thought, completely fixed and absorbed. Dharana is more like intellectual, we try, and samadhi is absorption. Samadhi is state of perfection, and dharana state. These are the 8 steps. And if you see, bhakti is there because we are remembering dharana. But then in the beginning, those things are needed. Pranayama is needed. And yama and niyama, those do's and don'ts are needed. Self control is needed. Um, Mm, um, because otherwise the mind will always run away. So the mind make peaceful, then with your intelligence, hold the form of the Lord, and that itself will purify, remove all the contaminations from the mind gradually. And as the contamination are removed, then the mind become absorbed. And in this way you can hold it. And then at the time of death, naturally you are holding the form of the Lord. At the time of death, then you go to the Lord. And this is the path of Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga path is also bona fide. But Prabhupada says this is not possible in this age because people in Satya Yoga who would practice this path of holding the Lord in their mind, they would have to do meditation for 60,000 years. And in this age, Prabhupada says the mind is very much disturbed. If you try to sit and hold the form of the Lord, you will hold the form of the Lord for a few minutes and the Lord will elude away, go away. But one can chant the holy name for 2 hours. And as the chanting advances, one can hold. Um, um, so Prabhupada says meditation is not for this age, but Kalauta Hari Kirtana. In Kali Yuga, it is Hari Kirtana. So then Sukadev Goswami says the dharana, which is holding the Lord in the mind, destroys the contamination of the mind, which is agitated and bewildered. The mind is agitated naturally because of mode of passion, and it's bewildered, confused. Um, don't know what is right, what is wrong. It is confused, it is agitated, and these are called contamination of the mind. They will go away once the form of the light, once the form of the Lord enters the mind. And this path of dharana, it removes the contamination. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, the path of chanting remove the contamination for us. Cheto darpana marjanam, which is the same thing as dharana. So that's why this path, what we take is Shuddha Bhakti. This part that they take is, there is asana, there is pranayam, and eventually there is dharana. It is yoga mishra bhakti, but bhakti is needed. Then Parishit Maharaj asked this question. Parishit Maharaj says, how is dharana accomplished? How can one attain this path of dharana, which is holding the Lord in the mind? How can one do that? Then Sukadev Goswami says, you have to perfect the first 5 paths in order to accomplish dharana. In order to hold the mind with your intelligence, you have to be self-controlled. You have to leave your home, live in a secluded place without, so that you don't see any object of sense gratification. And whatever past impression are there, you have to pacify your mind through pranayama. You have to control the body through asana, and through pranayama and uttering of om, you have to pacify the mind. And once you perfect the first 5 steps, asana, pranayama, pratyahara means, and then continuously withdraw the sense object from your mind. The mind goes here and there, bring it back, bring it back, bring it back, and hold, hold, hold. Once you perfect the first 5 stages, then you can attain dharana. Then um, Sukadev goes, Parikshit Maharaj asked, what is the bona fide dharana ashray? Dharana ashray means, what should one hold? Now, this is a part of Ashtanga Yoga. Hold the form of the Lord. Hold the form of the Lord. What form of the Lord? What should one hold? And that is answered. That is answered you should hold if you are a neophyte, a new bhakta, a new yogi, then remember the Virat Roop of the Lord. And if you are experienced, then remember the Paramatma feature. And this is the goal. You see, the goal of yogi is Paramatma, and the goal of bhaktas are Bhagavan. Um, and then how to quickly remove the contamination of the mind. Parikshit Maharaj asks, how mind become free from all everything that is within the mind, free from the contamination. So Sukadev Goswami says by the process of dharana. When you hold the Lord in the mind, the contamination goes away. How do I hold the Lord in the mind? By you hold the Lord in the mind by doing practicing the yamani, the do's and don'ts and asana, pranayam, uttering of om, and withdrawing the object, withdrawing the mind from the sense object. Perfect these things, then you can hold the Lord. How to remove contamination? By this process. And what should I try to hold? If you're a beginner, hold the universal form of the Lord. And if you're an advanced yogi, then hold the Paramatma feature of the Lord. And then the last part of it, then Sukadev Goswami describe how does the Virat Roop looks like. What is Virat Roop? Then he says, the feet of the Lord is Patal, the heel and the toes is Rasatal, the ankle is Mahatal, the calves which is below the knee, um, 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 that is Talatal, the knee, Hutna bolte hain, Sutal, and then the thigh, lower part of thigh is Vital, then upper part of the thigh is Atal, then hips is Earth planet, then navel is Bhuvarlok, chest is Swarglok, neck is Maharlok, face and the mouth is Janalok, forehead is Tapalok, and the head is Satyalok. So this is like describing the Virat Roop. Virat Roop means the whole universe, and whole universe are different different limbs correspond to um, um, different planetary system in the universal form of the Lord. In other words, it is easy to remember what we see. It is difficult to close the eyes and to see from the spiritual eyes of the mind. That's why Paramatma feature is difficult to behold because nothing is visible. But seeing the Earth, imagining higher planet, lower planet, what we see up and down, that is relatively easier. Then he says the arms are Indra, the arms of the universal form is Indra, the ears of the living end of the universal form is the Devatas, the Dig Devatas, which are Devatas for direction, and the nostril is the Ashwini Kumaras, the mouth is the fire, the mouth. So when you see blazing fire, you can remember, you can meditate on the mouth of the Lord. When you see Swarglok Indra, you can remember the arms of the Lord. And we see that the Swarglok is the chest. So in the chest, the arm is the demigods headed by Indra. When you see, and then the eyeballs is the sun. When you see the sun, you can see, oh, this is the eye of the Lord. Then day and night is the eyelids. So when it is night, so what eyelid does is covers the eyeball. So sun is covered. So when you see the night, you can remember, oh, the Lord has closed his eyes. And when you see, when you open the eyes, when the universal form open the eyes, then we see, oh, the Lord eyes are now visible because the eyes is sun. Um, then the tongue is the taste or juice of everything. So you taste something and there is some juicy fruit you eat and you may think like, oh, this is the tongue of the universal form. So in this way, the jaws and the jaws of the universal form is yama. So you see people are dying. So you see, oh, the Lord is entering into the jaws of universal form. So in this way, Sukadev Goswami says that Prabhupada also, Krishna also showed this universal form. And then Prabhupada says in the purport that this is for less intelligent people. And here clearly in the first chapter. And why Sukadeva Goswami is describing this? Because many of them are attached to this conception. They are yogis and they meditate on this. And this is their sadhana. So before he began, he gave the path of pure bhakti. And then he says, some hold this view. And then he gave this view. Um, then The smile of the Lord is compared to Maya, the illusion. Uh, if you see illusion, you can see that, oh, this is the smile of the Lord. And in this way, there are many. There is religion is the chest of the Lord, irreligion is the back of the Lord, Brahma is the genitals of the Lord, because Brahma is the one who is the creator, and genitals are used for creation. And then ocean is the abdomen or the waist of the Lord. Hills and mountains are the bones, then veins are the rivers. In the veins the blood flows, so the rivers are flowing, so they are like veins of the, you can consider them as the veins of the Vishwarup. Then you see the hairs, they are trees of the Lord. Then the wind is the breath of the Lord. Then his movement is the passing away of time. um, so when we go from youth to old age, we can say the Lord is moving. Virat Rupa is moving. So this is he's teaching about for neophytes how to hold the universal form of the Lord. Then his activities are reactions of the three modes. So some reaction is coming. You can see, oh, this is the activity of the Virat Rupa. um, then hairs on head is the cloud. You see the cloud, you see, oh, these are the uh, hairs on the head of the Virat Roop. Um, and then continues the mind. And the moon is the mind of the Lord. You see the moon, and you see, oh, this is the mind of Virat Roop. This is the eyes of Virat Roop. This is the eyelid of Virat Roop. This is the hairs of Virat Roop. This is the veins of Virat Roop. This is the hairs of the head of Virat Roop. Or this is Maya of Virat Roop. Or this is the like the smile of the Virat Roop. And yeah, Devata. This is the hands of the Virat Roop. Then ego. The Rudra is the ego of the Virat Roop. Mahatattva is the consciousness. And then wild animals and all the four-legged animals, they are the hips because they live on the earth planet. And then it goes on. Brahmanas are the face, Kshatriyas are the arms, Vaishyas are the thighs, Shudras are the feet. Um, um, okay, and the basically um, in the last verse, then Sukadev Goswami says, "Thus I have described the Virat Roop, which is the bona fide Dharana Ashray." This is what Ashtanga Yogi should hold. Dharana Ashray means Ashray for Dharana. For the neophyte or attached yogi desiring liberation, meditating on any other form will not be possible and will even cause degradation. So this is a proper meditation for Ashtanga Yogi, for a attached Ashtanga Yogi. Okay, so that's all. That's the chapter 1, beginning of Sukadeva Goswami instruction, describing path of bhakti and then the path of Ashtanga, and some questions by Maharaj Parikshit and the corresponding answer. So, are there any discussion, or uh, were we able to understand this chapter?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dhanavad Pranam.
Then
Prabhuji, Katwa Maharaj got liberation, Prabhuji. So what kind of liberation he got, Prabhuji? He got the association of devotees.
oh, Maharaj Khatwani. Prabhupada says he attained liberation. Prabhupada does not give more detail on it.
Okay, Prabhuji.
Now, it can be, I mean, I don't think, I think from my understanding, what Srila Prabhupada says, he came, he had 12 minutes, and he just remembered Hari. So there is a good chance he may have attained Vaikuntha planet because he remembered Hari. But I don't know much because that is also one of the 5 kind of liberation. Impersonal liberation is one of them. So based on what aspect of Hari he was remembering, Brahman aspect or personal aspect, he must have attained that kind of liberation.
Okay, Prabhuji, thank you.
Thank you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anything else anyone has?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much for the nice class, Prabhuji. For one who practices Ashtanga Yoga, they also attain the kingdom of God, right?
Well, they attain Vaikuntha. Their ultimate goal is Paramatma. Their initial meditation is Virat Roop. Then their final is Paramatma, and their goal is Vaikuntha.
Okay.
They attain.
Paramatma. Okay.
They do attain that, but it is described. It is not practical for this age to attain perfection through that path, because the initial yama and niyama, leaving home, living in a forest, and that meditation takes, like Prabhupada says, thousands of years of practice to get to the point of samadhi. That path is like that.
Uh, they will attain the love of Godhead, the prema, which can be attained through bhakti. Can that be attained through the Ashtanga Yoga process as well?
Yeah, it's not prema. Their samadhi is like it's not a devotional service. It's just remembrance. Like Prabhupada says, samadhi for a bhakti yogi like Mother Yashoda, always thinking how to serve Krishna, how to serve Lord Chaitanya. And when the mind is not engaged, for samadhi for a bhakti yogi is not like sitting in one corner and remembering. Samadhi for bhakti yogi is how to serve the Lord. How can I please the Lord? And everything, wherever he is walking, he is talking, whatever he is doing, he's thinking, how can I serve the Lord in this situation? How Mother Yashoda, Prabhupada says, Mother Yashoda is the um, exemplary example of samadhi. She was always thinking, Krishna's feet will be hurt. What should I cook for Krishna? And then Prabhupada says, bhakti is not, bhakti is Prabhupada says, practical activity. Is we are constantly trying to serve the Lord in loving devotion. And this is the path of bhakti. But the path of Ashtanga is you sit and you remember. That's all they have.
So they attain Vaikuntha Lok. In Vaikuntha also we have the personal form, like the Bhagavan feature of the
Yes,
Lord, right? Prabhuji?
yes.
So they attain that, but Paramatma is like super soul, right? Like
But
the
Paramatma is four-handed Vishnu form, na Mata? So they meditate on the four-handed Vishnu form of Lord. That's why they go to Vaikuntha, where Lord is there in four-handed Vishnu form.
so Prabhuji, in the heart, like in every living entity, the Lord is present as Paramatma, right? Like as part of the soul, like the super soul is also present, right?
Yes, yes.
So that super soul is called as Paramatma, and also the four-handed feature of Lord is also Paramatma.
Well, the super soul is the four-handed feature of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The Lord is sitting in our heart in four-handed form, and that is Kshirodakshini Vishnu. But Kesar Vishnu.
Okay.
But Srila Prabhupada says for Bhakti yogis, it is replaced directly by Krishna. So a devotee see Krishna in the heart. But for a Ashtanga yogi, it's Kshirodakshini Vishnu.
So there are three aspects, right, Prabhuji? Bhagavan, Paramatma, and Brahman.
Yes,
So Bhagavan is the personal form of the Lord, right?
yes. For example, Krishna is there, Rama is there, Narayan is there. So they all are performing their own pastimes in Ayodhya, Vrindavan, or Vaikuntha planet. Or Lord Narasimha is there, and all the incarnation of Krishna, they have their own planet. So that is Bhagwan feature. Paramatma feature is one aspect of Vishnu who is within our heart. So Ashtanga Yogi focuses on that aspect. So they go to Vaikuntha planet.
Mm. And Brahman, Prabhuji.
Brahman is the feature through which the Lord is present in every atom through Brahman feature. And the example, Prabhupada gives an example of sunshine. The sun is there, but sunlight is everywhere. Light now in the room, there is a window. I cannot see the sun, but sunlight is here. Through the window, sunlight is coming. Sunlight goes everywhere. Likewise, the feature of the Lord that is all pervading, that is Brahman feature, which is the effulgence, the aura of the Lord, um, and effulgence of the Lord. And those who meditate on Brahman feature, they enter into the aura of the Lord, which is the Brahman region, which is below the Vaikuntha Loka, below the spiritual world and above the material world. The interface is the Brahman region. They enter there.
Mm-hmm. So that is called as impersonal Brahman.
That is impersonal Brahman. Some people meditate on that. It's spiritual also. It's but then they go there. Paramatma goes. I mean, Paramatma yogis go to Vaikuntha. Bhakti yogi, they go to the planet of the Lord they worship. Bhakti yogi can be like the goal of Ashtanga yogi, and the goal of say a sampradaya who worship Vishnu will be the same because they both attain Vaikuntha. Because but a Bhakti yogi can be of Lord Ram, can be of Lord Krishna, and they go to those planets. But Ashtanga yogi will go to Vaikuntha only.
Okay. Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. One more question, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, so there is a chance of fall down in Ashtanga Yogi also, Prabhuji, because there is no service to the Lord.
Ashtanga yogi. Okay. So Ashtanga yogi, chance of, okay, those who have attained perfection of samadhi, they, while remembering the Lord, they attain the Lord. They don't fall down. But then those who are not perfect, Krishna speaks about these yogis in 8th chapter. Krishna says if they live at the time of day, they attain liberation. You know, what kind of liberation they attain based on whether their meditation was on Brahman or on Paramatma. Ashtanga yogi can meditate on Brahman or can meditate on Paramatma. Their destination will be based on their meditation. But those who leave their body in the night time, they go to the moon planet, enjoy heaven, and then they come back. But those who attain Brahman realization, they Brahma's prayers in 10th Canto Bhagavatam, it says they fall down because there is no engagement. Those who attain Vaikuntha, they don't fall down because there is proper engagement with the personal form of the Lord. Did I answer?
Okay, Prabhuji. Actually, okay, service to the Lord will be there in Vaikuntha also for Ashtanga Yogis.
Yes, service will be there because Vaikuntha, Lord personal form is there. So it can be Shantaras, they can be in a form of a tree. So there may not be service, but then it's a personal aspect. So they don't fall down from there. One who goes there never returns here again.
Okay, Prabhuji. Bhagavan realization, loving service will be there, and there, according to their interest, they will have service to
And
the Lord Ashtanga
yeah,
Yoga, right,
but
Prabhuji?
thoda sa loud, thoda sa closer to your device.
Yes, Prabhuji. In Bhagavan realization, loving service to the Lord will be there.
Yes, it will be there.
Okay. In Ashtanga Yoga, according to their stage of realization, the service will be there. Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, in Ashtanga Yoga, there can be a loving service if they focus on Paramatma feature. In Brahman, no loving service based on what they meditate on.
Okay, Prabhuji. Brahman, I'm clear, Prabhuji. Bhagavan also, I'm clear, Prabhuji. But for Ashtanga Yoga only, I'm doubt, Prabhuji.
Doubt. So, but the Ashtanga Yogi, those who meditate on Paramatma, they go to Vaikuntha because their goal is the remembering Narayan. They go to Vaikuntha Loka. And once they go to Vaikuntha, the spiritual kingdom, it's actually they attain Bhagwan realization in Vaikuntha planet because they are seeing Bhagwan in their heart. Actually, they are seeing the Lord in their heart. That's why I said advanced yogi sees Paramatma. Paramatma is a personal feature of the Lord, which is in a way, but the only difference between Paramatma and Bhagwan is when Bhagwan comes and enters into the heart, it's Paramatma. But when Bhagwan is in the spiritual world, it's Bhagwan. So we directly focus on that Bhagwan feature. But both are personal realization.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Okay, anything else? Any other discussion, question?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. Uh,
Mataji,
Prabhuji, what is the difference between Avadut and Paramahansa? Because I think recently I heard that Nityananda Prabhu was Avadut, right? So sometimes I hear that some Goswamis are Paramahansa, right? So what is the difference in both of them?
okay, Paramhamsa is the highest stage of sannyas. Kuttichak, Bahudak, Parivarajakacharya, and Paramhamsa. These are the four stages of sannyas. Paramhamsa means completely self-realized. And Avadut means mad. Avadut means intoxicated with love of God. Avadut. Um, um, Avadut is way beyond Paramhamsa stage. Um, Completely intoxicated in love of God. To such an extent that he is not even conscious of what is happening in this world, what he's speaking, where he is, because he's so intoxicated that he has become mad. That is Nityananda Avadut. And naturally, Avadut is way beyond Paramhamsa, so Paramhamsa is there. Paramhamsa can be for sannyasis, but Avadut is for, like we say Nityananda Prabhu. We don't say Avadut to devotees generally. Usually we say Paramhamsa. We say Paramhamsa Parivrajakacharya Stota His Divine Grace, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. But Nitai is not a Jiva Tattva. Nitai is he's a Guru Tattva and he's Avadut. Does it help, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
So, Shukadev was Paramhansa.
Well,
Shukadev.
yeah, he is a Paramhamsa. I mean, of course, a Paramhamsa. I mean, not necessarily referred by that name, but yes.
Means to understand that level of
Yeah, he is a
his
Paramhamsa.
realization. Okay,
Yes.
okay, understood. Thank you,
Thank
Prabhuji.
you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. And the word Paramhamsa itself means, Hamsa is swan and can distinguish between milk and water, can remove the water from the milk. Likewise, the devotee is not attracted to anything material and he sees Krishna everywhere. He can see Krishna in the matter, in everything he sees Krishna. So he can separate everything every spirit from matter. Whatever, wherever he is, he's always transcendental. And like he sees the spirit in everything. He sees either Shivdakshai Vishnu or Paramatma or everything as the energy of Krishna. He connects everything to Krishna. And that's why he's Paramhamsa. He can distinguish whatever you give him, he will see the essence which is Krishna in everything. And that's a Paramhamsa stage. Okay. Any other
Thank you,
discussion?
Prabhuji.
Thank you, Matas. Anything else?
Thank you, sir. Prabhuji, Chandra Pranam, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, one question. So, one question like Shantaras, when the person will go to Vaikuntha, it's in the neutral rasa. I mean, what kind of Shantaras? I just want to understand a little bit. It's a
Santaras is like trees in Vaikuntha or everything
but
is conscious.
no loving, no service. The person is associated to the service in that rasa.
Yeah, there is almost negligible service. For example, the trees also render service to Krishna. How when Krishna comes, either they give the fruit that Krishna wants or cowherd boys want, or they give shade to Krishna and Krishna lives peacefully, or they expand their branches. I mean, in whichever way there is some service, but everybody in Santaras have some service. For example, the peacocks, sometimes Krishna dance with them, so they give some joy to Krishna. Um, Everything does some little service, but they are mostly
So usually like a soul, like in the form of tree or form of peacock, birds, not form of a living being in human form, like kind of
not human Prabhu. Human are at least dasya. Human,
dasya. To start with dasya, not shanta.
yeah, they start
And
with dasya.
then when you said Avaduta is Nityananda Prabhuji, do we have any other Avaduta other than Nityananda Prabhuji in our disciple succession and from starting from Krishna?
Yeah. Well, um, nothing. I mean, we don't use the name Avaduta for anyone else, in my understanding, Prabhuji. I mean, can we use? I mean, I don't know. Not a scholar in the subject matter, but
But the
generally, I never hear.
Sanskrit meaning of Avaduta is a messenger, isn't it? I mean, Avadut, like when we send someone for some message to that's what my understanding was of Dut. I don't know this meaning
Yeah,
I'm hearing first time.
yeah, I see. But how it is translated in our Gaudiya Vaishnava literature is mad. I think there may be multiple meanings to it, or maybe Hindi and Sanskrit. So again, not a scholar in that, but it is referred to as intoxicated with love.
But it still is a messenger, correct? To pass that love message to others, like, to give the love to others. It's a
Yeah, it can be seen in that way. Okay, cannot argue.
so just want to understand. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, anything else? All right, we'll end here. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for joining. If I spoke anything wrong, please forgive me as a humble servant. पंचकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद। दंडवत प्रणाम। हरे कृष्ण। थैंक यू।
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna,
Thank you,
Prabhupada.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
थैंक यू वेरी मच। हरे कृष्ण।
हरे कृष्ण प्रभु जी, धन्यवाद प्रणाम।
थैंक यू गिरीश
Krishna,
प्रभु।
Bhoji, Dandavat.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
थैंक यू श्री माता जी। हरे कृष्ण।